Hi guys, Tim is back, and this time we're going to go into everything e-liquid. We talk about the recent vaping news, how you need to trust what you vape, and we also shamelessly plug 2 of our limited edition e-liquid ranges. Welcome to episode 7 of the Totally Wicked Vape Podcast. Okay, hi guys, and welcome to episode 7 of the I forgot that again, but that's okay.
We've only just discussed it. We've just been sat here for the last 5 minutes discussing on what episode we're actually on, and then Rachel forgets within 30 seconds.
It's episode 7.
Yes.
Episode 7, and we are back.
Yes, well, welcome back. It is nice to see you.
I know, it is nice to see you too. So it has been a long time. We haven't been here, but that's okay. We're back now. But we've both been very busy. Busy summer.
It's been very busy. Loads of new product launches. We've had all the different things for October and November in helping people quit smoking, the Bite Challenge, and it's been a very busy period.
It has, but we are back now with a vengeance. And so this will be us. So you'll be hearing from us really regularly. So we're going to try and stick to this really good schedule of this podcast and ensure that we are always here for you guys.
Yes. We're taking it more seriously now, aren't we, Rachel?
We were serious before, but now...
Well, now we've put our foot down.
That's it. Turbo serious.
Turbo serious.
Turbo serious.
Yes. We'll forget about that.
That's
Rachel.
what it is.
We'll forget that.
So what have you been up to, Tim?
Nothing much. Well, it's been a bit busy. I changed jobs. So I'm now the store manager of Birmingham.
Nice.
So it's been getting myself settled in there, getting to know the team, getting all that established. So yeah, lots of changes, but it's all good. What about you?
We were doing the Totally Wicked Big Summer, which was great. So that was a ton of different product launches that came out over the summer. And then we're obviously heavily involved in the Totally Wicked Challenge, which you guys are too, actually, in retail. So that is our ethos, which is empowering smokers to change their lives.
Yes.
Using the Bite e-cig, which has been a resounding success.
Oh yeah, it's been going brilliantly. We've had some great results, especially with as a precursor to the Bite Challenge. We've been to 2 different universities, or university events, should I say, that I've taken part in.
Oh, wow.
One for Manchester University for the Freshers' Fair, and the same for BCU, or Birmingham University. And the success, especially with the Bite, I've got to admit, even though we'd done the demonstration videos and everything, I didn't fully appreciate the value of the Bite until I did those 2 events at those student things. And what we were doing is people were trading in a packet of cigarettes and getting a free Bite kit in exchange. And the result, especially because, as you know, the main thing that puts people off vaping who are currently smoking is that cough reflex. And the fact that it's practically non-existent with the Bite, the results that we got from it was amazing. You know, it was really, really good.
That's fantastic.
And then obviously now we're furthering that with the Bite Challenge and getting it to a wider base of smokers. And the results have been brilliant. Unfortunately,
what's not been brilliant,
go on.
This has come at a great time, probably one of the best times, but also we're going through a tough patch.
Vaping. Oh, of course, with the news and all the things that have been going on.
I'm going to tell you a story, right? So you ready for this story? So yesterday I got a text message off my mum, right? So I possibly mentioned my mum before, but she was a smoker from the age of 11. She's now 62. She won't mind me saying that. So last year she got really poorly and she ended up in hospital. And when she was in hospital, she got pneumonia. And she couldn't recover from pneumonia because her lungs were so damaged. She's got really bad asthma from smoking. So she couldn't recover and she was really, really poorly. She was in hospital for nearly 2 months. And they said the reason that you can't recover from this pneumonia that you've got in hospital, and one of the reasons you've got it, is because your lungs are so damaged. You have to stop smoking. It's going to kill you if you don't. And I tried for years. I've been here for years, and the whole time I've been trying to get her on an e-cig. But you can't force a smoker to quit.
No.
You could never force me to quit. We could never have forced you to quit. And so I never pushed her. And she went cold turkey off cigs because obviously she was extremely poorly and she was like, I'm never going to smoke again. And when she left hospital, her lungs started getting tons better. She was still using her inhaler, but getting loads and loads better. And then after about 3 months of being out of hospital, she said to me, I feel like I want to smoke again. And so my dad went into panic mode.
Yeah.
I'm going into panic mode. So I went, let me get you an e-cig. let's try it. So I got her a Switch 2.
Yeah.
And I got her some Red Label Ice Menthol 3. Now, one of the reasons she hadn't vaped is the cough reflex. So she used to cough so badly when she vaped because her lungs were so damaged that it completely put her off doing it.
Yeah, of course.
When she vaped this time, she didn't cough because her lungs were starting to get better.
Yeah.
And she's been using her e-cig religiously. She doesn't use it through the day, just in the evening and when she's having a bit of a drink with my dad at the weekend when they go to the pub. Working fantastically for her. I got a text message off her yesterday. Do I need to be worried about vaping? Because I'm really panicked about the headlines that I've seen.
It's just, it's crazy. The example that I've been using with customers in store is just said to them, so if me and you get a fork now and we go outside and we find the first car that we can and start jamming the fork into the car battery, should the headline read, "Car batteries are dangerous, 2 men die," or should it read, "2 idiots stick fork in battery and die"? No, please don't get me wrong. I'm not referring to anyone as idiots that's been unfortunate enough to suffer pain or from vaping. But the headlines are so unproductive is not a strong enough term. But it says what I want to say. And to say that vaping causes deaths over in America is what's the word I'm looking for? It's irresponsible.
It is irresponsible.
Because simply it's people are making their own liquids and they're putting things in those liquids that may be fine to ingest, so they think that that's okay and it's all healthy, you know, but it's not been tested for inhalation. And that's why we have such unbelievably rigorous processes in place to test everything for inhalation to within an inch of its life, so that you know when you're getting our products, this isn't a shameless plug, by the way, audience, that they are suitable for what you're going to use them for. It's
frustrating for me because if my mum, who knows where I work, who I work for, what I do for a job, if she
can be swayed by
the headlines, and she's not gone in her own mind, if there was a potential problem, would my daughter not have told me about it? And my mum's an intelligent lady, let me tell you.
But to be fair to your mum, that probably wouldn't be her thoughts should she start down that path. The thoughts would be, would Rachel even be aware? Because, you know, it could be some massive conspiracy that Totally Wicked are also covering it up. When the fact of the matter is that considering that Totally Wicked has now been here for 11 years, why? This is the biggest question that I've posed to my customers. Why has it not happened before this? Why has it taken 11 years at least for people to die from vaping, in inverted commas? And the answer is because something has changed. Something has been done differently. And that different thing is in an unregulated or less regulated market, should I say, that people have been creating their own liquids, putting things in there that are not suitable for inhalation. And unfortunately, there's been some very severe consequences.
Irresponsible is the perfect word to use. So when I texted my mum yesterday, I said, you need to read further in the story, because the problem is that people read the headline, the first paragraph, they don't read further down. They put all the important information right at the bottom of the article. And what the headline should read is, do not use black market THC liquid from a specific part of the USA. That's what it should say, because let's be cards on the table here. The problem has been extremely localized in certain parts of America, and it's because they are using a black market THC e-liquid. I'm doing air quotes here because it was not tested for inhalation suitability, and it contains something called vitamin E acetate, which is absolutely damaging when you inhale it. You can ingest it, you can use it in everyday life, but if you inhale that substance, it damages your lungs.
I think there's a clear misunderstanding from people that are not expected to have that data available, but possibly shouldn't be making their own e-liquids as a result, that if you can ingest it and it's fine, then to put it into your body via the lungs must be fine. But we're forgetting the whole concept that you're stomach is a sack of acid that processes stuff, whereas essentially you're putting stuff directly into your lungs, which is not made to process things like that, and it's going straight into your bloodstream.
Now, the headlines have been so frustrating for me, and it's... Unfortunately, there are good news stories coming out. That's great. The unfortunate part is that they're not getting picked up anywhere near as much. And so in the UK, we are being a little bit better, although there has been some extremely irresponsible reporting. Because when it first came over from the USA, they were plastering it all over the front page of the papers. Yeah. And I even got a Sky News alert about it to my phone at 7 o'clock in the morning. Vaping is dangerous. And I'm like, are you kidding? And I'm literally sat there going, this is insane. This is the worst press I've ever seen about vaping in general. Whereas the vaping isn't the problem. It's the liquid that's inside it that's the issue.
Yeah.
As I say, it's been extremely frustrating for all of us, I think, and it must be for our customers as well, who can look past these headlines and say, well, of course it's not that.
Well, not only that, you get people that don't necessarily have a vested interest in vaping because they're not vapers or smokers, who are friends with vapers, who then will, unbeknownst to them, start putting unnecessary pressure on their friends who are vaping, saying, have you not seen these headlines? Now, as a vapor, the first reaction that you're going to be is that you're going to do is to look further into it, because you don't want to lose that crutch that's helped you quit smoking. But people who are not vapors are not going to look at that, because all they see is the headlines, and they start applying that pressure. How many people are going to bow to that pressure and potentially go back to cigarettes? It's absolutely crazy, and my opinion, not the opinion of Totally Wicked, disclaimer, but the fact that all this negative press seems to stick so much more with the mainstream media, to me, is just testament to how many pounds are being lost by companies with more money to spend than sense, and it's wrong. And it's a wider issue. We won't go into this, because if you get me started on this, we'll be here all day. But it's a wider issue with the polarisation of the media, because it's a dying breed due to social media, YouTube and podcasts. Podcasts, people, podcasts.
Well, I was going to touch upon it briefly, but we will be brief. I sat down with Liam. You will have listened to it, Tim, episode 6, and it was a shorter podcast than we normally do, than me and you do. It was only about 13 minutes long, but I felt like it was really important to sit down with Liam Humberstone, for you guys out there who don't know, who is our technical director, who has been involved in so much vaping regulation over the years. He's a really key figure in the vaping industry. And I thought it was important to sit down with him and have the conversation about the headlines, because they just kept coming and coming and coming thick and fast. So we sat down and I asked him the question. And I said, tinfoil hat time, is there a reason that these headlines are all of a sudden coming out? Is there something bigger behind it? Now, he surprised me with his answer, because what he actually said was, I won't say any names, but there are people in big tobacco and big pharma who would have a vested interest in these headlines getting out there. And so that was his answer, and it was really surprising to me. What was then interesting is that yesterday I was doing a little bit of investigation myself, and on YouTube I was watching a video was flagged to me, and it was about a news report that had happened in America just last week. And there was a gentleman who was unfortunately suffered a severe lung injury because of vaping, air quotations, because of vaping. And they played the news report, and in the news report it was this gentleman sat in hospital with an oxygen mask on, and he was talking, and they had obviously asked him the question, how has this happened? And he said, well, as soon as I ended up in hospital, I knew that this had happened because of vaping. End scene. And then it cut to the next scene. He then released a video about 2 days later, and he said, this is not what I said. And what they had actually done is he had said, as soon as I ended up in hospital, I knew that this had happened because I was vaping THC cartridges. And what they'd done is actually cut it when he said vaping.
That's how wary you have to be with editing. You know, it's just crazy how you can completely change the perspective on something that's being said by that kind of cut.
But he came out and said, I did not say that, but that gets then lost in the noise. The damage is already done.
Oh, of course it doesn't. And then not only that, what backing does his video have in terms of reach to explain what should have happened. Nothing. Whereas the media platforms that go with that edited version, well, they've got untold reach in comparison. So it's just wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
It is wrong. But let us, on the record right now, the news headlines that you are seeing, if you're seeing them at the minute, and it says things like vaping is dangerous because there are people with lung injuries in America. All of those news reports, I'm not talking about every news report that's ever come out. I'm talking about the ones at the minute that are talking about these lung conditions, this lung damage that is happening in America, is not because of vaping, air quotations. It is because that they happen to be using within an electronic cigarette a black market THC liquid that has vitamin E acetate added that creates a lung injury when you inhale it. That's what these reports are about. They are not about your nicotine-containing e-liquid.
Especially not in the UK, where it's so heavily regulated due to, the TPD that came in. I think it's important to say at this point as well that don't take our word for it. We've got a vested interest. We work for Totally Wicked. But what I would say is that we've been around again for 11 years. This has never happened before. That's just us that's been around for 11 years. That's not vaping in general. It's never happened before. So what is it that's changed that's created this set of circumstances? Why has it come about now? And that should pose a big enough question for people to look into it themselves. Don't take our word for it. Look into the research. Don't take what you see from mainstream media as gospel and analyse it a little. And as soon as you do, you just find out how baseless and irresponsible the reporting really can be.
This kind of moves us on to our next point, excuse me, which I think is important, and that is trusting what you vape. I think that that's really important, and we're all about, and again, this is going to sound like a shameless plug, but it's genuinely not. This is all about trusting what you vape. Do you trust what you put into your e-cig? And like you made a really good point, which was that in the UK, our e-liquid is extremely regulated. So we have to, the MHRA is very involved. I know that some companies may only do the absolute basics, but even in the UK, the absolute basics are still really good.
Damn good, yeah.
That's the thing. So this isn't me slating any e-cig company. It genuinely isn't. But I think if you're vaping nicotine-containing e-liquid, then you have to trust what you vape.
Yep.
And that's why we invest so much in Totally Wicked, in what we do with our e-liquid. So we test everything for inhalation suitability. We test toxicology, not only on the end product, but on all the ingredients that come in as well. We have trusted relationships with suppliers that we've had for years on end. Not only that, but our amazing e-liquid team here, who is headed up by Dr. Peter Gibbons, batch test every single batch of e-liquid, and they're all quarantined until that test comes back. And so it's all about, if you are ever worried, which you shouldn't be, but if you are ever worried and you're buying your e-liquid from somewhere else, which you should vape Totally e-liquid because it's the best. But if you don't, vape Totally Wicked e-liquid, then that's okay. There are some other really good companies out there.
Just be careful.
Be careful. Look into it.
This is what I always say to my customers as well, because a lot of questions that we get is about short fill. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, my response with regards to short fill is, please don't regard the short fill that you may or may not be buying as bad for you. This is not what I'm saying. But the fact that there's no nicotine in that larger bottle means that it's not subject to the same testing regulation as one of our bottles, which does already contain nicotine. As a result, they only have to test the nicotine solution of the nicotine shot, and you could find that there are things that are unsuitable for inhalation in that bottle of concentrated flavour. So just make sure, especially with short fill, which is one of the reasons why we've avoided it. We've toyed with the idea, but that you should be extremely careful with where you're buying short fill, especially, but all e-liquid. Absolutely,
and it's all a case of, again, like you said before, don't take our word for it. Look into it, ask the questions, go on, have a look. If you're buying from a specific company, it's all about being aware being aware. Now, the thing that I always come back to with people when they talk to me about this on social media, because if you talk on social media, you're most likely going to be talking to me. The people who come back and talk to me on social media about e-liquids and stuff, I say to them, you don't really need to be worried, but you should always be aware. Again, like the really good point you made before, Tim, is do not take our word for it. Go and look, research into the companies that you're buying your e-liquid from. You should be aware of what you're vaping. But I always come back to, when you were a smoker, you knew that smoking was going to kill you at some point. So many people die from smoking-related illnesses, and this is one of the things that they don't put in the headline.
Yes, yeah. The comparison between smoking and vaping is conveniently dropped at the point of release of those articles, and it's like, right, okay, so if they even took a purely statistical view and said, right, so in the past decade, how many people have died from vaping? Now, this isn't to belittle the terrible events that have happened in America, but that number versus the number of people, I'm not even going to go into the numbers in case I get something wrong, but we already know that the comparison is incomparable, of deaths. Now, I'm not saying that then means that what has gone on is acceptable. It's wholly unacceptable. As one of the founding members of the IBVTA, we hold standards higher than anyone's. But that comparison is conveniently dropped from the articles, and it just gives a very, very one-sided and distorted view of what has been beneficial for millions upon millions of people.
Now, we did an article, and me and Liam, again, we sat down and we did some maths, because obviously Liam's an engineer, so
likes his maths.
I'm not great with maths. We did some maths, and we went with the headline, after doing this maths, that vaping is 1 million times less likely to lead to a hospital admission than smoking.
Oh, I like that.
And that is conservative figures. That's a conservative figure. It actually is probably more moving up towards hundreds of millions of times less likely to lead to a hospital admission than smoking. Because one thing that people don't take into account is, yes, it's horrible that people die from smoking-related illnesses, but hundreds of thousands in the UK alone are admitted to hospital each year from smoking. Yeah, from a smoking-related illness. Luckily, it doesn't end in a fatality, but they're still admitted to hospital for smoking. And again, these figures are so conveniently left out of the headlines. At the end of the day, Public Health England are sticking by their statement, and they said that they are more sure than ever now that vaping is at least 95% safer than smoking.
I think it's all credit to them, because the big institutions in the UK have, in my opinion, done themselves proud by reissuing statements such as that, to try and solidify people in the UK's confidence in vaping and to continue vaping. Because if they'd have remained quiet, it would have been much more of a difficult job to help convince people that, no, this thing that has helped you quit smoking is not killing you quicker or equally. And their backing is priceless.
Right, okay, Tim, all of this talk about e-liquid. And now let's move on to how amazing it can be.
Okay.
Because we're going to talk about, in our shameless plug, insert jingle here, it's shameless plug time. We know everybody loves this. We are going to talk about 2 e-liquid ranges. And they are both limited edition e-liquid ranges, but both absolutely fabulous. So we have our election e-liquid range, which I love. I know you love it, Tim, because you're all about politics.
That's another one of those topics that we have to avoid, Rachel, unless we want this podcast to be about 3 hours long.
My dad told me never talk about religion or politics because they only lead to arguments.
That depends on, my opinion is it depends on how cultured you are in your approach to those conversations.
But the election e-liquid range, I absolutely love it. We've done 2 before. We did one in 2015, one in 2017. In 2015, we managed to predict the result of the election before it happened.
Oh, we did, yeah. I've forgotten about that.
Which was glorious.
It was like bob on to within a couple of percent, wasn't it?
Within 1%. We managed to predict it within 1%. It was amazing. 2017, We didn't. We'll brush over.
Oh yeah, we'll forget about that. We'll do what the newspapers do. We'll omit that from the article so that we get the statistics to suit our purpose.
Of course,
let's do that.
But they were both resounding successes, and so when this election was called, we knew we had to do it. It has been a rapid turnaround in creating an e-liquid range, but we've done it again. So we have one for each candidate. The flavour we hope represents them as a candidate. What are they, Tim? Run them over.
So we've got...
Run them over, not the candidates.
Some of them may deserve that. But again, that is my opinion and not that of Totally Wicked. We're not condoning violence on this show. So Sturgeon's Girders, which is Iron Brew, or a flavoured fruit drink. We've got Bojo's Brexit Crunch, blueberry muffin. Corbyn's Objections, strawberry and vanilla ice cream. Farage's Clean Break, which is cool menthol with peppermint and spearmint. Swinson's Revoke, which is lemonade fruit fizz. I've got to say that even though I'm a boring man with my flavours, and I usually just use tobaccos, they're all pretty damn good in the sense that I like them all. I couldn't use them as a regular vape because it's not what I do. I use tobacco flavours, but they're really, really good, especially Sturgeon's Girders. Beautiful. Really, really nice.
It's been really popular, that fizzy fruit drink, trademark pending from Scotland, because I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, it's been ridiculously popular. To be fair, all of them have. The thing about these is they are limited edition, and I really hope that we can predict the election again, because we've started to track it now. So we track what people are buying and what's popular, and then we do our own alternative elections. So it's like an alternative e-liquid election, and that we do with these flavours. But customers have been really loving them, and even though, yes, they are associated to a certain political candidate, each flavour, I don't think it matters. It's the flavours that matter, and it's our way of having a little bit of fun around the election.
Especially we have the this is shamelessly plugging, but we've got a great deal on them where you can get all 5 for just £12. So if you get one of each, £12, so you can try them out and pick which one's your favourite.
And see, that was a really good shameless plug.
It was, wasn't it? I fitted that in there as if it wasn't even a plug.
And the other one we're going to talk about, now this is like breaking news, because we've not really spoken about this at all anywhere, to be fair, but there is another limited edition range coming out.
I'm excited about these ones.
You're not the only one. So there is a Christmas range, a festive flavours. It is a veritable bouquet of flavour that we're going to be releasing for Christmas.
Well done, Rachel.
I know.
Well done.
It took me a minute.
You decided that you needed to say some fancy words, and very, very nearly you messed it up. But you landed it. We don't have to retake, because we like to do one edit, ladies and gentlemen. We do.
Yeah, I think that's something people don't know.
That it's all done in one take. No, we're going to go off on a detour here.
I don't mind it.
It's quite... I would like to think that that's one of the things that people would like about it, because it is literally as it happens.
Yeah.
And there's no editing, like we were talking about before, and the dodgy people editing that man with the terrible story. It is what it is.
Yeah, we do it all in one long go. This is just me and you talking, and we don't chop and change, we don't cut, we don't edit. So I think people do need to know that.
Yes.
But I think what they want to know about more is festive flavours.
Yes, let's move back on to what we were talking about. Yes, yeah.
So again, these are going to be limited edition, only out for a limited time, and there is 4. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see people's reactions, because they are so Christmassy. And you know me, we've said it before and I'll say it again. I absolutely love Christmas. My tree is already up.
Oh, no, it's not.
It is.
You're a bad lady.
It's been scientifically proven that it makes you happier, Tim.
What statistics did they gerrymander to make that?
I will send you the link to the article in The Sun that I read.
Oh, The Sun. Oh, of course. Yes, putting your Christmas tree up 5 months early makes you live 10 years longer.
Our opinions, not the opinions of Totally Wicked. Just saying that one more time.
Yes.
But yes, there's going to be 4 flavours. So you ready? I'm going to hit you with them.
Go on.
Mince pie.
Yeah. Oh, I can do a bit of that. I can mix a bit of judge in there and have some mince pie and custard as well. Oh,
Look
winning.
at you.
Winning.
Thinking outside of the box.
Yes.
Mulled wine.
That's all I've been drinking for the last couple of weeks. As soon as it came back out on the shelves, we go hunting from it. We've even got it down to which one's the best quality and which one's the best price out of the 4 different outlets you can buy it from near us.
Candy cane.
Yes.
And here it is. The one that everyone's going to want. Pigs in blankets.
Oh, so we're doing that, are we? We're going with a savoury.
We're going with a savoury. Now, savoury liquids are not prevalent in our industry. And there's a reason.
Yeah, there's a very, very good reason.
They're not that easy to get right. They genuinely aren't. But we'll run through them all dead quick. Mince pie they're all, to be fair, there's not one that I absolutely dislike. They're all really good.
Even pigs in blankets.
Even pigs in blankets. They are really true to what they say they are. So mince pie tastes just like mince pie. Mulled wine tastes just like mulled wine. Candy cane is obviously going to be my favourite. I'm a menthol girl, and this is really minty, quite sweet, really nice. And the pigs in blankets is, I think, going to be the Marmite flavour. There are other brands of yeast extract on the market, FYI. I'm just using Marmite as an example. But this is going to be the Marmite flavour. You are either going to absolutely love it.
I've just realised what you just said. Please, shoppers, make sure that you do know there are other brands of yeast extract paste on the market.
I need to know. I don't want to get in trouble.
Yes, many others.
But I think people are going to absolutely love it, or they're going to absolutely can't stand it, but everybody has to try it.
I think it's going to be the most tested e-liquid. I don't know about sales, because it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I think it's going to be the most tested e-liquid that we've ever released.
And let's be honest, these are a bit of fun. They're brilliant. They really do invoke feelings of happiness. Even if you don't particularly if you try pigs in blankets and you don't like it, but through testing here that we've been doing at HQ, some people absolutely love it. They can't wait for it to be released. They can vape it all day. So there are some people who are really into it. I'm not going to give my opinion, because my opinion doesn't count.
That doesn't sound like you, Rachel. Regardless of whether your opinion counts or not, you're always forthcoming.
But I want people to try them. I want people to go out and try them. And this is a shameless plug, but I genuinely think that these flavours are absolutely brilliant. I think the election liquid flavours are brilliant. I think when it comes to political satire, we do it really well. And I think they're absolutely fantastic. And I think the Christmas e-liquid ones, I think people are going to absolutely love them, be really receptive.
I can't wait to try.
Yeah, we're going to finish here, and then we're going to go and we're going to get you them, and you're going to try them all.
Sounds brilliant to me.
Because I can't wait to see your reaction. So yeah, and there's also an offer on the Christmas e-liquids as well. So you can get all 4 as well for a discount. So that's going to be fantastic. So keep an eye out for that on social media, because we will be launching them there. And we'll let you guys know. And if you're in Birmingham, go and see Tim.
Come and see me
in the shop, and you will get to meet the man himself, and he will talk you through the flavours.
The benefit of coming into stores, you can try these crazy flavours before you purchase.
Very true. That's one thing that you cannot do online. So that's one of the benefits of our stores, is that I think there's everything, isn't there? You can try everything.
Oh, all kits, all liquids, all available for demonstration before you buy.
Please go to Birmingham and see Tim. But other than that, we probably won't speak to you before Christmas now, I don't think. Depending when this goes, possibly. I think it might be after Christmas. But if it is after Christmas, have a great Christmas.
Yes.
Mr.
And a Happy
Tim.
New Year.
And a Happy New Year,
yes.
Especially.
And to the audience. And to Wes as well. We were dragging Wes into the previous podcast, weren't we? And he's so far escaped unscathed. Say hello, Wes.
He is there. He's now just being dark and mysterious and pretending that he doesn't exist.
Yes.
See, here's the thing that everyone's going to leave with today. Is there a person called Wes?
Or are we just doing it ourselves? We should get him to do the introductions. It's like when someone stands behind the curtain and goes, and here's Tim and Rachel, but it's actually Tim that's saying it.
So you take that away with you. Dear listeners, is there a man called Wes who sits with us, or is it just me and Tim in a room with a microphone being a little bit strange?
It wouldn't be unknown.
It wouldn't. And either way, we will speak to you soon, and thank you so much for tuning in. See you later, Tim.
Take care, guys. Merry Christmas.